We'll conclude our lecture by taking a look at the convert class. The convert class is another class that allows us to do conversions. In this case, we're going to take a base data type and convert it to some other data type. So this is similar to what we've been doing with the try-parse method, but instead we have several methods that allow us to convert from one type to another. Some of the more common methods that we would use would be 2-decimal, which allows us to convert something to a decimal, 2-double, which allows us to convert something to a double, and 2-string, which you should be familiar with if you've done stuff in Java, allows us to convert something to a string. The difference here compared to try-parse is that these methods actually return a value. With try-parse, it doesn't return anything. The conversion is done and we store the result in one of the arguments. Here, we're going to do a conversion and whatever is returned is the converted value. The way we would call a method is quite simple. So let me give you the syntax here. So we would have convert as the class that we're invoking on, a dot, whichever method that we're converting. So I just put here as method name as a placeholder, but we can do like convert.2-decimal, convert.2-double, and so forth. And then in parentheses, we would have the value that we want to convert into whatever type we want to convert it into. Let's do an example of using at least one of the methods from the convert class just to help us out. Now we're going to assume that we have a label called LB price. And what we're going to end up doing is creating some string and we'll put it as the text portion of this label. So here is our code. So we see here that we have a price variable of type double. It's initially 45.99. And then we have a string variable called price for label. Initially it's null, that's okay. The conversion is being done right here. So what we see is we're using the toString method from the convert class, which means we're going to take our price, which and this is a double of 45.99, and we're going to convert that into a string and store that in price for label. So after this line, price for label has the string 45.99. Now let's look at the next line. We see that we're going to actually concatenate a string in front of it. So that's what we're doing right here. So remember, this ampersand sign allows us to concatenate strings together. So we have the string price is with a space, and then we're going to concatenate the string 45.99. So that's going to be stored in price for label. So now we have that complete string. And then our last line is going to take price is 45.99 as a string and store it in the text property for LB price. So now the text for LB price in our application would be price is 45.99. Now that last example had a lot going on, so I just want to show the same example, but we can do it a little bit simpler. So we can actually have something like this instead. So the first line, we still have our price and it's 45.99, but those other three lines we had before, we can combine all of that into a single line where we're doing our conversion. So we take our price, convert it to a string. So that's what's being done at this part right here. So that gives us a string. And then we concatenate that with the price is at the beginning. So we can concatenate those two together and then store that into the text of LD price. We didn't really need to create a variable to then store the conversion, then concatenate and store it back in there again, and then put that into the text of the LB price. We can just put it all together as one line.